What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Unexpected Season 5, Episode 10, Kicked Out. And this is just going to be the Kylen and Jason review. So, before we get started into the episode itself, I have a couple of things to say. Number one, someone in my previous video had commented that Kylen did not choose Jason to be the father of her child because I had said that I was like, Kylen, girl, you chose this guy to be the father of your kid. And this person commented that she didn't choose this guy to be the father of her kid because Jason had taken the condom off without her knowing. So I went back and I watched episode 1, and in this segment where they talk about the whole condom thing, Kylen said that Jason had put the condom on and then he took the condom off. And then Jason made some comment about how he doesn't like using condoms and he's the king of raw dogging. And then Kylen giggled and then they moved on to talk about something else. So whether she knew that he took the condom off or not, I don't know, because in that particular segment she didn't say that she didn't know. All she said was that he put it on and then he took it off, and that's all that was said. So I didn't jump to the conclusion that he did it without her knowing because she didn't say that. So I don't know exactly what happened, but I still stand by what I said is that when you lay down with someone, regardless of whether you're using any kind of contraceptive or not, there's always a possibility of a pregnancy occurring. And so you're not consciously saying, oh, I want you to be the father of my child. It's like a subconscious thing because you're doing the act that causes pregnancies, that makes babies. And there's always a possibility of contraceptives failing. A condom could break, user error with birth control, whatever the situation. Or you may be that 0.0001% chance of getting pregnant. You might be that one. So you never know. So I still stand by what I said, that when you decide to sleep with someone, there's a possibility that a pregnancy can occur. So you are subconsciously making a decision. This person could possibly be the other parent to my child. And when you think about it, it does sound kind of weird because we're not thinking of that, when you're doing the act, you're not consciously thinking of that. But that is the reality of it. I mean, ask the numerous people out there who have children with partners that they regret having children with. So I still stand by what I said. Now, moving on to something else. There was a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode, and the disclaimer was something about how, some viewers may find certain scenes in this episode difficult to watch or something to that effect. And I can't believe that well, I can believe that Jason could be that offensive for people to watch. I just can't believe that they felt like they had to put a disclaimer. I mean, because it's that bad. Yes, you do need a warning on any episode that features Jason because the way he treats Kylen is very difficult to watch. And it can mess up, certain people's sensibilities to see this kind of abuse inflicted on someone. It's absolutely horrible. Like, how does that make you feel, Jason, that you are so offensive in your behavior towards your girlfriend, your pregnant girlfriend, who's in the middle of a very difficult labor? How does that make you feel that you are so offensive to the point where TLC has to put a disclaimer to warn people about watching you? Moving into the episode now. Kylen and Jason. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. Kylen has been in labor for 24 hours. Jason says in his confessional that he is pissed off basically at the whole world. He's pissed off at the midwives. He's pissed off at the hospital because he never wanted to go to the hospital. And he thinks that hospitals don't listen to the fathers and they just focus on the mother. Like, who else are they going to focus on, Jason, if not the patient? He says, unless you're married, they treat you like you're just like a friend. I don't think hospitals are why would they take into consideration what anybody else has to say when they're there to treat the patient? It's the patient that's going through the medical procedure. So Jason, why would they sit there and have like a long in-depth conversation with you on what needs to be done with Kylen when Kylen can make decisions for herself and she's the actual patient? So what anybody else has to say is of no consequence. So when they get to the hospital, the nurses tell them that the way that they treat maternal exhaustion is with an epidural. So here we go. go, the big epidural debate. So Kylen says in her confessional that our plans changed and Jason doesn't like it when plans change. And the way she said that like, a person who is under the complete control of her abuser. He doesn't like it when things don't go his way. Never talks about what she likes or what she dislikes. It's all about what her abuser is. What makes him happy, what makes him comfortable. And I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that she has been conditioned by this guy to think that way. Like she puts his needs before her own. So in the hospital room, Kylen tries to explain how it is physically impossible for her to go on any longer like this. Like she could want to continue, she could want to try, but her body is telling her no. It is a no-go, sister. We are not going to go on any further like this. Like she physically can't, and he just doesn't understand that. Then Jason suggests to her that she needs to take a nap or just go ahead and deliver him. How can she take a nap, Jason, when she's in excruciating pain? How does that happen? You don't want her to be relieved of the pain, but you want her to take a nap and then or just go ahead and deliver him. How can she do that when the baby's not ready to come out? So the nurses says that it's her body and it's her choice. Jason says in the confessional that an epidural has fentanyl and fentanyl is very addictive. I don't approve of any drugs at all, but she doesn't care about it. Okay, there's fentanyl in epidurals. Fentanyl is a drug. It's a permissible legal drug. The problem is when people abuse it. Okay, their hospital is not going to abuse the medication in the epidural, the fentanyl or whatever else is in there. They're not abusing it. It's a problem when it's not used for its intended purpose and you abuse it. You're familiar with things being abused, Jason, aren't you? So when she begged to have an epidural, he called her a drug addict. He did that. He called her a drug addict because she wants to relieve the pain so that she can deliver his baby. The nurses said that they've never seen anything like this where a father is fighting the mother about getting an epidural. Y'all have no idea, nurses. Y'all have no idea what just walked into this hospital. So, and I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't even have to be a fight. It doesn't even have to be a debate. Kylen, just tell these nurses that you want your epidural and let's get on with the business of having a baby. There's no conversation about this. There's no discussion about this. Kylen, just tell them you want the damn epidural. So he compares humans giving birth to animals giving birth. I don't know anything about animals giving birth. I have no idea if animals feel pain or not when they give birth. But this is not. No, you can't do that. Your point is being completely wasted. We don't know anything about animals. You're not like you want to claim to be an obstetrician gynecologist, and now when you're reading off the ingredients of what's in an epidural, you're also a pharmacist. Jason, you can't be a vet as well. So don't come to us about what it's like when animals give birth because you have no idea. You're not a veterinarian. We don't know what goes on when animals give birth. We're not veterinarians. All we know is that right now your girlfriend is in pain. That's the only thing that we know. That's the only reality that we're dealing with. Kylen at this moment is in pain. Let's concentrate on that. So cousin Lizzie calls. This is Jason's cousin, and she wants to see how things are going. And Jason says, well, she's tired because she didn't get enough sleep last night. And what the hell do you think kept her up all night? She didn't get enough sleep last night. So what do you think kept her up? Could it be the fact that your son is about to push his way through her body? Does that have anything to do with her not getting enough sleep? Because he made it seem like, she was up all night, watching YouTube or something. So the cousin tries to convince Jason to allow Kylen to get an epidural. The cousin says that Jason needs to stop being an a-hole and let Kylen get the damn epidural. Okay, you're preaching to the choir, sister. So this is what I thought. I wish when I thought this, the very next scene it happened. So I was thinking to myself, God, can someone just talk to Kylen instead of trying to bypass Kylen and talk to Jason? Because, we're all under the impression that Kylen will only do what Jason allows her to do. So people are trying to convince Jason that she should get the epidural so that he can let her give her the permission. And I'm like, just forget about Jason. Just talk to Kylen directly. Well, thankfully, Cousin Lizzie did that. So Cousin Lizzie finally told Kylen to get the epidural. Kylen said, I don't want Jason to be mad. And then Jason says, you're not getting it. And thankfully, hallelujah, the heavens opened and the angels sung. Kylen finally said, yes, I am. I'm finally going to speak up for myself. And that's exactly what she did. 27 hours now into labor. I guess they had her hooked up, with the IVs and everything. So when she was 27 hours in, Kylen is telling Jason, can you please come here? And Jason says, will you please not get the epidural? And she's like, no. And then Jason says, then no, I'm not going to come over there. So because she's decided to get the epidural, he doesn't want to come near her. He doesn't want to help her. He doesn't want to assist her in any kind of way. Like, how does a demon live in you, Jason? Or is there a demon in you? Because your girlfriend is in pain. She's uncomfortable. She needs your support. She needs your help. And you're just going to be like, you're going to get the epidural? Okay, then I'm not going to do anything. Anyways, so he says to her, look at you. You're already high. Okay, so the nurse says there's no drugs going into her arm. It is only IV fluid. Okay? There's no drugs in her, Jason. How can she be high on IV fluids? So in the confessional, he called her a POS because he was that angry about her getting IV fluid or whatever the hell was going on. He called her, and she was sitting right next to him. He called her a POS. Like I said, Kylen, how in the world do you control yourself from knocking the living daylights out of this guy when he talks to you like that? So then Kylen decides to go ahead and get the epidural. Jason kept saying that he's not giving consent for these drugs to go into his son. And the anesthesiologist says this is not about your son. It's about her body and her pain reduction. And I liked it when the anesthesiologist was like, you have no idea what's going on here. So then he called her a very derogative term in the confessional. He called her something that rhymes with wussy because of the fact that she decided to get an epidural. He called her that. That was probably the saddest moment for me. Believe it or not, that was probably because that term, that word is so disgusting, and you use that to the mother of your son, your precious, precious son, his mother. That's what you called her. So the staff tells him that if he can't be therapeutic, then he's going to have to leave. And Jason's like, no. And so he tries to make her feel guilty for making the decision to get the epidural. And, she's like, stop stressing me out about this. And so the staff is like, you know what? You're not helping the situation. You're going to have to go. So they call security. Security comes down and they're ready to get rid of him. And Kylen actually says that she doesn't want him to leave because that is her only support. I feel like she was begging for them to not make him leave, not because she really wanted him there, because she was worried that if he didn't stay, she was going to catch hell afterwards. So at some point, he gives a middle finger. I don't know if he gave the middle finger to the hospital staff or if he gave the middle finger to Kylen. I don't know. But I'm thinking to myself, you're disgusting. You're a disgusting human being, Jason. And I feel bad about saying this because I'm old enough to be his mother. He's like a child to me. But it's absolutely disgusting for him to, at whatever age he's at, he's old enough to know that you just don't do stuff like that. You're giving the middle finger to people who are trying to help you, or you're giving the middle finger to the mother of your child. Whatever you were doing, it was very offensive, very rude, unacceptable, animalistic behavior. So security comes, and like I said, Kylen doesn't want him to leave. And then he blames her for himself getting kicked out. He blames her. That is so frustrating. I don't know if y'all have met people like this, the kind of people that everything is somebody else's fault. They don't do anything wrong. It's always someone else. People like that infuriate me to the nth degree. They take no accountability, no responsibility for any of their actions. The fact that you are calling her names, preventing her from getting any type of pain medication, interfering with her giving birth to your child, not assisting her, not helping her in any way. But then when they ask you to leave, you're blaming her. So he blames her for them escorting him out, and I don't see anything. I don't blame Kylen for for saying, don't take him, don't make him leave, telling them that she wanted him to stay. I'm not mad at her for that because she doesn't know any better. She's just worried about what he's going to do to her afterwards. The way that he talks to her is so abusive, and it's awful that I can't believe that he doesn't put his hands on her, because he acts like someone who has no ability to control his anger or to control his temper. So I'm not saying that he's using her face as a punching bag, but I'm pretty sure there's got to be some pushing and shoving going on between them. And when the baby's born, I pray to God that the baby's 100% healthy, because if the baby's born anything less than 100% healthy, even if whatever is wrong with the child has nothing to do with the epidural, which it won't, he's going to blame it on the fact that she decided to have an epidural. The baby can have like a genetic defect, and he's going to blame it on, well, our child is like this because you had an epidural. She will never hear the end of this whole epidural thing. I don't think so. So let's just pray that she has a healthy delivery, that she gives birth to a very healthy baby. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say. And that she gets away from him. Okay, that she runs the hell. She takes her baby and runs the hell away from him. I know that eventually, I think that Kylen is going to end up leaving him at some point. It's going to take time, but there's going to come a point where she herself is frustrated, and hopefully, when she sees how it's affecting her child and it's affecting her mothering, maybe that's going to be the wake up call that she needs to get rid of this guy. And I also hope, because they're not married, so the only way for him to have any type of legal rights to this child is if he signs the birth certificate. And I hope that he doesn't do that. I'm pretty sure he will, but I hope that he doesn't do that, so that he has no rights to this child. And if she needs to leave him, she can leave, with her kid and not have any issues until he takes her to court. I don't know. But yeah, that is my review of Unexpected, the Kylen and Jason edition. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to rate the video on your way out. If you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe. If you don't, perfectly okay. Thank you for stopping by anyway. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.